Right, let's go back to those protests in Lebanon. Protesters succeeding today in forcing another postponement of a session of Parliament. Our correspondent, Molana-Allen, is standing by. Layla, what more can you tell us about what we've seen in outside Parliament today?
So from early morning, from about 6 a.m., protesters came down here to block off all the entrances to Nejmeh Square, which is where Parliament meets. What they wanted to do was to stop the Parliament being able to meet for a session today where they were going to discuss several draft laws. And there were a few issues. The first was they weren't very happy with the laws. One is a general amnesty law, which people are concerned politicians are going to use to try and excuse themselves from being prosecuted for their own crime. Protesters say they are highly corrupt and they want politicians to be prosecuted for that. The other thing that they were looking at was an anti-corruption law, which would set up a commission to look into fiscal and political crimes. But what protesters are saying is, until there is a law putting in judicial independence, there is no way that that will be effective because all the judges are chosen by the existing politicians. The other issue they had was simply that right now this is a resigned government, a caretaker government, and they have no business legislating. It is unconstitutional according to lawyers, and all they should be doing is trying to set up a crisis government. So they came from early on, they managed to block all those roads. Only about 5 MPs out of 128 succeeded in actually making it, and eventually just after 11 a.m., which is when the session was meant to start, the Speaker of Parliament, Nabi Berri, said we are going to have to postpone it again. No date for the next session scheduled yet, and protesters absolutely jubilant that in their eyes they have been victorious.
Layla, the banks reopened today.
The banks did reopen today. The banks have been shut for 10 days. They were, at the beginning of the protests, shut for a few weeks, and they have just been shut for 10 days. The reason was because of a strike by bank employees, the Banking Association, because there had been some violence when people were trying to get their money out of their accounts, because unofficial capital controls, stopping people from taking all their money out, have been imposed individually by banks. Now, theoretically, yes, it was a success that they managed to open this morning. There was no violence, although there were a lot of security guards around a lot of the banks. So theoretically, a success for the government there, increasing confidence as people see that the banks are opening. But what's happened now is the Banking Association has said they are going to impose capital controls, which the governor of the central bank promised would not happen. There's now a limit. No transfers can go out of Lebanon, foreign transfers at all in dollars, except for very exceptional circumstances. Now, many businesses here survive on trading in dollars, so that's making it impossible for them to work, and a limit on $1,000 a week of withdrawals from dollar accounts. Now, people here for the last 30 years have interchangeably used dollars and the Lebanese lira, and for the last 22 years there has been a peg which has helped the Lebanese economy to survive. The fact that that peg is now slipping, people are starting to up prices for all sorts of things arbitrarily. People very, very concerned that Lebanon is on a slippery economic slope.
Thank you very much, Layla, for that update from Beirut. Layla Molana-Allen reporting.